This offline webinar is about patent monitoring. I would recommend that you first watch the webinar on patent mapping, also called patent landscaping, because there it is explained how to search, which is a basis for the later on patent monitoring. Unless you rely on the option of using Espasnet and you're already familiar with Espasnet, then at the end of this presentation I will show you how you can use the RSS feed in Espasnet to set up a patent monitoring. Now, first of all, I would like to introduce the agenda. We start with a general overview on patent monitoring. Then I would like to explain you the patent monitoring approach step by step. The examples used here are based on PatSnap, but most of the patent search softwares are also capable of offering patent monitoring, and only details may change, which buttons to use, etc. But the general principles are the same. So first you need a patent search. In this case I introduce just one search here, whereas in the patent mapping webinar I have followed three different approaches how to search. If you then execute the search and arrive at a patent list, there is in one kind or the other an option to set up an email alert. In this case, with PatSnap, there is a email alert button, which I will show you later in a screenshot. Then clearly it is also advisable or necessary from the software to set a title for the patent monitoring, to define to which email addresses it should be sent. So by default your own email address is used, and you can introduce one or more email addresses of the customer for which this patent monitoring is set up, for instance during a one-on-one pilot action. Then you can also choose the frequency. I would advise that maybe weekly is a good option, but clearly you can also choose daily or once a month. And then also the day can be chosen. One recommendation here, which I used for my customers on one-on-one pilot actions, is to use Monday. As I already mentioned, by default the email alert is also received in the own email box. Therefore you have an overview whether the customer gets an email and what is the content of an email. Then you can also get a list of email alerts via click on the own email address. So you always have an overview how many email alerts you have set up for different customers or clients. The concept is that once you have defined a search query, patents are constantly being filed irrespective of which technical field you are interested in. Therefore you have a continuous monitoring which new patent applications appear in this defined technical field. And therefore you also have a very good overview about the patenting activities of competitors, which is essential, for instance, in order to file some notions to the patent office that you have material which clearly shows that this patent application or the invention idea is not novel. Therefore, you always keep abreast on the development in the technology field, and you can react swiftly. If we follow these different windows, to the left, clearly examples are from PetSnap. As I said, you have this add to list. You can create and save searches and lists for your projects. Then, if you have such patent lists resulting from patent searches, you can export the data in multiple formats. For instance, as an Excel table, or also the full patent documents as PDF files. You can even create PowerPoint presentations directly from the dashboards to be used, for instance, for internal or external presentations or for reports. For instance, for a report after a one-on-one pilot action with a client. Then you can add and edit this email alert in the window to the right. This is seen. You have one search query here. You can use, or you have to use a title. You then can enter email addresses in the send to field. In this case, the frequency was chosen weekly, and the day was Sunday. I mentioned that I changed it to Monday, but also weekly frequency. Up to 1,000 records will be included in the email attachment, which is rather easy because it's only links and not the full documents. And the default sending time for the email alerts is 12 a.m. So therefore this sums it up in general and gives an overview. And now I would like find an appropriate search which limits the results to the very technical field the client is interested in. In this case, I again chose the search query for plasma coating, atmospheric plasma coating, which is a specialty. Normally it's done in vacuum. And with the keywords hydrophobic or hydrophilic, the client was interested in coatings which change the properties of the coating to be either hydrophobic or hydrophilic. So we have defined this search query. The result when running this search query is 872 patents, so represented, one representative each for each patent family. And now the essential thing is that you can set an email alert. There is a special button here in PetSnap, but this may look rather similar in other software. Afterwards, when you have pushed this, you get this window. You introduce or you set the title, in this case atmospheric plasma hydrophobic hydrophilic. You set the frequency, you can set it to daily, weekly or monthly, and you then can also choose an appropriate date which you may communicate or decide together with the client. Choose here the button email alert. And then you see the title. So this is a check of the email alert you have already set up. You can check here the title. You see how many patents in general are found by this search query. And you have the frequency given here, sent on every Monday, and as you see here, this is already a bit ago, so next alert on April the 10th. And you see in this field the setup is sent to my own email address and to one more user, which is the email address of the client. And you also see here that the status of the email alert is active. You can also then turn it inactive, for instance, if your client asks for it or is not interested anymore. Here is one example of such an email alert with 2 new patents. So you see that you have the title of the email alert, already also the frequency and everything is even the search query is given here, and below you have the new patent applications. You have the publication number, the title and the short abstract, and you click on the link in order to access the full document. First, a patent search has to be defined to have the proper technical field the client is interested in. In this case, I use again this atmospheric plasma and hydrophobic or hydrophilic. I use the IPC C23 C16 and do and search. This advanced search. Here is the result list. So in this result list you can then choose this symbol right to the title result list. which produces an RSS feed, which is the symbol for the RSS feed. Then such a window opens for subscribing the RSS feed. So this is done here. Sorry that I could not change it in this case to English, but this means subscribe RSS feed. Then if you do this, if you click on this link or on this field, then you have another window for the subscription of the feed. Again, you have to give it a name, this RSS feed, and here is the option to subscribe it. In German it is called abonnieren, but in English this would mean subscribe. If you push this button, you get an indication that you have subscribed this field, this RSS feed. In the upper line you have Espacenet search results, where you have in the title atmospheric and plasma and hydrophobic or hydrophilic, or in the title or abstract, and you have the C23, C16 as the IPC classification. You have two patents which have arrived by that, and you can see the RSS feed properties in such a window. So all of this can be seen by pushing or by clicking here on show the properties of the RSS feed. If you do this, if you click here, then you get this window with RSS properties. Get here an explanation. For instance, it is said you can use RSS in Espacenet for also other purposes like the maintenance, news and news flashes section, but also for the result list of a patent search. And you always should use the advanced search function to combine several search criteria, and then when the result list appears, click on the RSS icon next to the word result list to the right, and then the URL will be added as a feed to the RSS client, and each click in this case creates a new RSS feed.